So I'm out here messing around with some jigs that old Spur Mountain Outdoors has tied for me to try. And either way, I got to thinking about a comment that I got a while back that I thought was a very subtle comment. So the comment basically was like, is your boat really that important when it comes to fishing, basically? So basically, like, what they were asking was, you know, does your boat actually make a difference in the way you fish, the way you can catch fish and things like that? And it just kind of got my brain stirred up. So it's kind of going to be one of those little rant videos. Anyway, stick around. It's something you don't want to miss. So is your boat actually that important for you to catch fish and the whole 9 yards? In my opinion, not really. Not really. It really isn't. I remember back when I was a kid, we'd drag a John boat, you know, down the road to get to a pond or something like that to fish. Somebody had let us fish, and we caught just as many, if not more, fish out of little aluminum boats than we did, you know, these big fancy rigs with all these electronics and things like that, 30 reels and rods. You know, I remember when I had, you know, just a couple of bags of worms, some hooks and some weights and 2 rods, you know, and it seemed like no matter where we went, we always caught fish. But it seems like in today's time, everybody has a boat. Everybody has a bass boat, fish and ski boat, tracker boat, aluminum boat. It just, you know, there's tons of boats out there. I've noticed, you know, growing up over the years that, you know, see a lot more boats out on the parking lot, and a lot more boats going down the road, a lot more boats out on the water than I used to. And after being in, you know, several boats, I don't know how many boats I've been in, all the way from the, you know, late 80s all the way into the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, 2020s. I've been in a lot of boats. And one thing that I have noticed from buying from individuals, and one thing I've noticed from buying from your dealer. Don't you hate it when you get started on a project and then you realize you don't have enough room in your truck or something like that to haul all the stuff off that you've done tore up or anything? Well, you don't want to go spend $2 or $3 grand on a trailer, or your buddy's trailer's tied up or something like that, and you just need a trailer real quick so you can haul your stuff off to the dump. Well, there's a company for that. It's called Tolos. What Tolos specializes in, individuals in your area put their trailers up that they're not using for rent. You go on there, you rent the trailer, book the trailer from that individual, you go pick it up from that individual, you use it, you bring it back to that individual. No people in suits, nothing crazy like that, just good, honest people like me and you, no dealing with a bunch of shenanigans. So forget all the other rental companies and make sure to check out Tolos.com. You're not going to be dealing with a bunch of corporate suits. You kind of have, in my opinion, better luck buying from individuals, because most individuals, a lot of times when they get ready to get rid of their boat, there's typically not a whole lot wrong with it. It's just a lot of people get into fishing. They realize how much time and stuff you need to put in, whether you're fishing in a competitive aspect, or a lot of people, from what I see, they get their kids into fishing, they carry their kids fish for a while, their kids find other sports that they become more fond of than fishing, and then the boat just sits, and then they, you know, end up selling. This doesn't mean, like, don't check out a boat if you're, like, check out a boat very well, like looking at the hull and the transom, all the whole 9 yards. Always check a boat very, very well before you buy it from anybody, including a dealer. But most of the time, your used boat market, when it comes to older boats and stuff, it's usually just boats that's, you know, either set or somebody wants something different and they end up selling it. And most of the time, you either get a really good one, or, you know, just a dud. And sometimes it's the, you know, not the person's fault selling it. It's just sometimes bad luck happens. It is what it is. But there's one thing that really comes to mind when it comes to choosing a boat. And by the way, this is not a sales video. I'm not trying to sell you the boat that I use, or, you know, try to get you to go buy any boat. I don't work for any boat company. This is just my opinion. It's kind of just what was going through my mind. After being in, you know, several different brands and stuff, I don't think brands make a huge difference. I think what matters is, can you A, afford the boat, and B, are you going to try to maximize your time on the water? But one thing that I have noticed when buying any new boat, there's going to be issues. No matter how thorough your dealer is, if your dealer's not taking that boat out, testing it, make sure everything is working 100% properly while they're on the water, and there more than likely there's going to be something. It could be something small to a little gasket to, just any little thing, you know, it can you know, like when I got my nitro, okay, the speedometer tube had come off inside the hose, so when I was stopping, it was pushing water through the speedometer, or out the through the tube and then down into the hole. We realized it pretty quickly, so we was able to fix it really quick. But is that Mercury's fault? Is that Bass Pro's fault? Is that White River Marine's fault? Not really. I mean, it's simply because we're all humans. We all make mistakes. Things happen. Stuff get overlooked. We do it all the time. It's part of it. But one thing I can say is what really matters when you're choosing a boat to buy from a dealer, whether that's a new or a used boat, is how a dealer treats you. How a boat dealer treats you, whether they're, you know, part of the White River Marine Group, whether they're part of the Bass Cat, Falcon, Phoenix, any of them, Avid, it doesn't matter. Anybody. It's how they treat their customer. I can say this from experience. If you go into a dealer to buy a boat and you feel any sort of, I don't want to say tension, but like you feel like they may be trying to pull one over on you, or they may be trying to do something they may not be. But if you feel any sort of way, I always recommend find somewhere else. There used to be a really good boat dealer and mechanic up in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Some of y'all who watch my channel may remember them, but they were called L&L Marine. And those guys down there, I hated it when the guy who owned it retired and they shut it down, the whole 9 yards. But there needs to be a lot more boat dealers like that, because those guys made sure that their customers were, number one, happy. But number two, everything was straight, tight, and right. Number three, if you had issues, it was as simple as making a phone call, telling them what's going on, and they would, as soon as possible, get you in. And they would even walk you through what went wrong. So for instance, you know, I'm fishing the ABT up at Guntersville. This is like 2019 or 2020, super cold. Super cold. It was so cold, like the latches on our boats and stuff were froze. We were all taking our scissors and, you know, chipping the ice out so we could just get in our boxes and stuff to simply get a bait or a rod or anything like that out, just getting ready for the tournament. And, you know, we'd practiced and all that stuff, but, you know, Robbie Floyd calls my name and we go to blast off, and I went to put my boat in gear, and I get up on pad and I start to trim up and no trim. Well, come to find out, what had happened was the wire inside there for the trim somehow got froze to like a gear or something when I put it in 4th gear, and that gear spun or something like that. It cut the wire. Either way, something happened within the mechanism of there where you put it in gear and it cut the wire. And at this time, I'm running like I think this was like a 2017 or 2018 Nitro or something like that. But, you know, just something super simple that couldn't be prevented. It's just a freak accident. Monday morning, L&L Marine had me up there, walked me through everything that went wrong, showed me exactly what went wrong and how to fix it in case it ever happens again while I'm out on the water. That's what a lot of people are looking for in a boat dealer. So no, I don't think it really matters what boat you run anymore. All these boats are built well. You'll talk to people that absolutely love their Nitro, and then you'll have people just dog Nitro and say that they're absolutely terrible. I've run them. There's a lot of things I don't like about them, but there's a lot of things about a Nitro that I really love, and I wish every boat had. Same with Phoenix, same with Bass Cat, same with Falcon, same with any of them. It doesn't matter. A good boat that can get you on the water, keep you out on the water, and get you back home is worth more than anything. But behind that, you have to have a good dealer. If you're not a boat mechanic or you don't have a boat mechanic, then it becomes a big problem, because anytime you have an issue, you're backed up for I don't know how long. But one of the biggest things that I have noticed is we don't trust a lot of people. Just in this country in general, we don't trust the content creator. We don't trust the pro bass fisherman. We don't trust the mechanic down the road. We don't trust the person at Walmart. There's a trust issue, and I think a lot of it has to do with social media. So, you know, I say all that to say, make sure to not push somebody down the road that may actually be trying to help you. Give your boat dealer and stuff like that a chance, but at the same time, don't be afraid to hold them accountable if they don't live up to what they say they were going to do or anything like that, because there is a lot of that goes on. So does your boat actually really matter that much? Not really, but your boat dealer and your boat mechanic, they matter big time, because they're the ones that's always going to make sure that you're either taken care of or on the water, especially if you're not working on your stuff yourself. So either way, guys, that's my opinion. I hope you liked the videos. A little bit of a rant, but you know, I just kind of felt like it was something that needed to be said. Either way, I appreciate it. I'll see you next time.